Hi, it's Lou from Christian Faith and Fiction. A while back I asked you for book suggestions, Christian fiction books for men, and today we're going to have a look at your suggestions. So I was asked by a friend to give some recommendations for Christian fiction books that are written with men in mind, and by that he meant books that don't have a lot of romance in them and that aren't too introspective and emotional. Now, I don't intend this to be sexist in any way. I am sure there are men out there who like to read romance, and I know for certain there are ladies who like to read books without that sort of thing in it. So take the title of this video as with a pinch of salt. So another disclaimer would be that I've only read a few of these authors myself, so I don't know through personal experience what they are like in terms of content or style or writing or even faith content, but these are the suggestions that people have left in the comments of that video. I put these into alphabetical order, and some of them the author was recommended, some an actual book was recommended, so I'm just going to go through, read them out. I will put a link in the description to my blog where you can get the full list of these authors there, and also you can take links through to their Goodreads pages where you can look at their actual books that are available. And if you have read any of these books, you can recommend them, or you think they shouldn't be on this list, please do let me know down in the comments below. And if you've got any more to add, do add them as well, and take a look at the comments for more suggestions. So the first person that was mentioned was Bill Myers, and the book they suggested was Eli. When I looked him up on Goodreads, it says his genre is young adult, humour, mystery and thrillers. And then Christine Cohen, who wrote Winter King. This is a fantasy and children's book. Then Chris Wally, the book or the series recommended was Lamb Among the Stars, which I think sci-fi genre. Chuck Black, who writes sort of allegory books, I think both fantasy and sci-fi. Correct me if I'm wrong. C.S. Lewis. This is an author that I have read, and he writes fantasy, sci-fi, children's and non-fiction, and I particularly like the Chronicles of Narnia. I guess, they would be suitable for younger guys, children. David Spun. He writes quite a lot of different genres, but I'm guessing they mean the suspense books that he's written, because he actually writes like romance as well, like a variety of different ones. Then Frank Peretti, who is writing mystery and thriller, fantasy. I don't know how to describe it. Is it like apocalyptic? I have seen his books around, but I haven't actually read any of those. Then Jake Tyson, the Vigilante Light trilogy, which looks to me like a superhero genre. James R. Hannibal, he writes thriller and fantasy, so his fantasy books I think are for middle grade and thrillers for adults. Joel C. Rosenberg, he writes mystery, suspense and thrillers. And then J.R.R. Tolkien, who Lord of the Rings was suggested, fantasy genre, very well known. If you're into fantasy, I'm sure you probably come across it or read it already. But yeah, I loved that one, and definitely I think that's suitable. Lou Wallace wrote Ben-Hur, which is a classic, I guess now. Quite a long time ago, quite a long book. Take a look at that one. Randy Singer, who writes, I think, mystery and thrillers. Robert Whitlow writes mystery and thrillers. Robin Parrish, the Off-World series, or the Off-World book, was the one that was suggested. They write mystery, thriller, sci-fi and fantasy, I think. Then Stephen James, the Bowers Files and the Jevon Banks Experience were the series that were recommended, and that is suspense and thrillers. Stephen R. Lawhead, Bright Empires. That I don't know what that one is, but he writes fantasy, sci-fi and historical fiction. Ted Dekker writes mystery and thrillers, sci-fi and fantasy. And Terry Blackstock, the If I Run series, which I have read, absolutely loved. Do think I recommend that to anybody. It does have romance in that one though, but still, it was a great series. Suspense and romance. And then other suggestions were, but I'm not sure if they've been read by this person, Ace Collins, Charles Martin and Chris Fabry. If you've read any of those books, tell me which one would be your favourite, which is your favourite author. And if you've got any other suggestions, do leave them in the comments. As I said, there's a link in the description where you can see the whole list and go through it for yourself in more detail in your own time. Okay guys, I hope that's helpful for you and points you in a direction of finding some more books that will be suitable for you or for people that you know as gifts or just as recommendations for other people. As I said, I haven't read all of them myself, so do check out the descriptions for yourself and the reviews. Okay, I hope you're having a really great reading week this week, and until next time, God bless. Bye.